Welcome everybody to this week's developer update. I'm here with QX. Nice to have you, QX.
Hey, nice to be here again, Joe.
That's much better than doing these solo. I appreciate it.
No problem. I took a nap today. At about what time? Oh, I took my daughter to the doctor, and I was in the waiting room, so I took a 30-minute nap in the waiting room in anticipation of this.
Well, you get sleep where you can, right?
You gotta.
So what's the hot topic of the week this week?
Well, we just had Ergo hack happen and end in between a dev update, so I mean that's a good topic to talk about.
Yeah, I'm a judge. I'm starting to dig through some of them. We had Lilium with their event ticketing, which was pretty cool to see that idea come to life. That's actually a really nice way to potentially do royalties for, I guess, different digital content.
Yeah, the way I understand it is it took him a couple times to explain it to me during when I interviewed him last week. But in order to force royalties, the ticket will sit in some sort of contract, not necessarily in your wallet, but a contract that shows ownership towards you. And then anytime you want to move that ticket to somebody else, there's a rule in the smart contract that says this amount of that sale has to be directed back towards the creator of the venue, kind of thing. So really kind of cool concept.
Yeah. And then what, sidechain prototype? That's pretty exciting, actually.
Which one?
The one that Ross and Kushti put together. Basically creating like a demonstration where you can bridge via smart contract if you have a similar enough Ergo tree on Ergo on a sidechain. So it kind of minimizes the risk, and I guess you can call it trustless as long as both consensus mechanisms, the assumptions there hold. It'll just be done via smart contract, which is super cool to see.
Dang. How far did they get with that during the hack?
They wrote a white paper, actually. So
okay.
They actually have pretty well-refined implementation pathway forward. There's a small part of me that's always hoped that we would have a true privacy based sidechain called Ogre. And then so you move from Ergo to Ogre, right? Back and forth. Let's see, maybe that dream will be realized one day.
It took me, I'd say, 6 months of being in the ecosystem before I realized that was just Ergo backwards.
Yeah.
A little slow at those kind of things sometimes.
All right. Let's see what else.
Wait, what's the what is Ogre on the chain, right? Ogre is here. That's a different thing, or is that something that was an idea back in the day?
Oh, that was an idea way back in the day. Like, it's something that's possible to build on Ergo. It's like a privacy-centric sidechain.
And who minted that token and put liquidity on?
Oh, then somebody minted a meme token, and it became a thing. And
so that's a meme token.
I don't know if it even got rugged. I guess it got stolen. So maybe we need to be more creative if we ever do that. But
jeez.
I have no idea, to be honest. I don't. I know what comes into my tip bot, right? I know what people throw at me, and then I dump on somebody else. But
Louis just needs to make a /all button for you, so you can just do tip, like tip clown /all, and then it'll just dump everything.
You don't know how painful it is to look it up, and then somebody else tips me, and the numbers change.
Did you see the Ergo Poor Man's hardware wallet?
I did. Nitram actually was sick for that, and he was doing that
in a hospital bed with wires. He said, "Yeah, crazy."
It's pretty awesome to see, though. That type of, I guess, simple and available solution for everybody. Somebody wants to play around, build their own little cheap hardware wallet. Why not?
That is pretty neat.
Then what? Satergo, playing around with NepoPal implementation. And I also have a bounty out for solo mining on top of the node. That way miners out there hopefully we can lower that barrier of entry. And if someone has enough, enough power and hash rate that, being a solo miner makes sense, it'd be nice to have some tooling in the ecosystem to help them spin up a solo miner really quickly, and be more local, not have to pay any fees. And so I know that Satergo is actually working on that, and there's another one in parallel, so I might have to pay that bounty twice, but that'd be cool to see options.
Another what do you mean another in parallel? Another whole, not through
Another
Satergo, but somebody
another
trying to
whole,
raise.
yeah, another whole build for solo mining.
Oh
So
wow.
we have two of them in parallel, and I support that. I'd be happy to see both. Then
I still think I'd still love a Satergo style pool executable.
yeah,
So not just for solo mining, but download Satergo, hit a few buttons, set up some DNS, not even do it via IP address. And you're good to go. And then you can invite your friends to mine with you collectively without much knowledge of how to run shit. And it'll
yeah, that would
just,
be cool. That would be cool.
really simplify that a bit.
Uh, what else? I saw that Nemo was playing around with the MetaMask snap.
Yeah.
And then at like in the middle of the hackathon, there was like a couple hours where MetaMask got removed from the Apple Store, and there was a bunch of hoopla in the crypto space. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, rug.
Perfect
But
timing.
yeah, perfect timing. But they brought it back. So that will be pretty cool. It's something that long term, can do a lot of, well, let's say make
No,
Nautilus more portable across blockchains, right?
yeah, and I mean we do get people in chat that say, "How do I get Ergo or Ergon Trust Wallet or MetaMask?" So
Mhm.
this will be that quick answer. Oh yeah, you can. There's a plugin for that.
Yeah, and I do hope that long term, Nautilus can actually be, maintained and grow in parallel with Rosen. So then, it can become its own, more well-known wallet across ecosystems.
That
Let's
would be
see.
neat.
That would be real neat.
Well, we got the
Uh,
don't forget the HodlBox project. That was
yeah, the
pretty fun.
HodlBox is pretty nice.
Did you create a box, Joe?
I didn't create a box, but that's okay because I have diamond hands anyway. Um, yeah, I deal well with that type of temptation. I don't want to nuke my own erg. I'll nuke, Twitter
You'll need
account,
somebody else's. Yeah, yeah,
whatever, but some things are sacred, right? No, I think that's a great little game, right? You deposit it in a box and it's locked for a period of time, and it kind of is a forced
Yep.
hands-off hold, right?
Yep. If it's out of your hands, then you're not going to worry about it as much.
Yeah.
That's for sure. There was a white paper on a reputation system too, right?
Yeah. It was focusing on trying to address, the issue that we run into with trust, right? Especially when you get into crypto, decentralized entities, it's actually really hard to say, okay, well, how can we build a reputation of trust? And, in most finance, that's some indicator of like risk, right? And then that risk is priced into products, loans, etc. And that's actually a really hard thing to do without a third party or some form of like KYC. So there's been a lot of interesting ideas out there, but I'm pretty excited to review that. I haven't gotten that deep yet. That
It was
and
it was a long paper. I skimmed through it a little bit, but yeah, definitely needs a little more time to look at.
I've got the link to the GitHub, but I haven't
Yeah,
had time to dive into it. I haven't had time either to dive into Deathgripson, with the atomic
with
swap
atomic
interface.
swap. Yeah, you want
Um,
to go over what that is, Joe, for everybody?
all right, so basically, what you're doing with atomic swaps is you're using, cryptographic protocols to allow people to swap or exchange without needing to trust each other. So, it requires uh, basically, script conditions to be met on both sides, and it's interesting. I would say that in terms of like cross chain or P2P cross chain, atomic swaps are a great standard, right? And then they're not necessarily new. I think one of the nicest projects in crypto as a whole is an application called Komodo Deck or Atomic Dex on Komodo, right? And so it's a DEX, but the entire premise of the DEX is atomic swaps.
So it's literally 1-to-1. You have to find an order that you like and buy that entire order, kind of thing.
Yeah, it gets messy then, because liquidity is a little bit fragmented, and then you have costs, and so it's a beautiful piece of technology, but then there are certain like UX issues there, that just never made it so popular. It's kind of an application for nerds, I guess. But
well, the hope was in those kind of things, once you get a massive amount of people in there, liquidity shouldn't be a problem. There'll be a ton of orders at the price you want anyway, kind of thing. So
yeah. So the hope is, if you can build enough liquidity and then abstract some of the complexity away enough, that it is an amazing tool. It's relying on just basic cryptography and then a exchange protocol. So nice to see. Then what? Auction coin was the other big one, which is ain't unreal. Actually, it's a pretty neat market distribution really cool protocol. It's fully functional, which is pretty neat.
And I rugged myself on that too.
How'd you rug yourself on that?
We were in, I help out with auction house and that kind of stuff. So I was all prepped to advertise it and list it and that kind of thing. And when I had spoken with the dev, they were saying, it's a couple days, it's within a day or two, and this was a couple days ago. And so I'm sitting in the GORT channel, the Gold Oracle channel, and somebody comes on and it's like, holy shit, auction coin's alive. How did we miss that? So I go to auction house, and sure enough, there's auction coin listed. It's going to start in 7 minutes, and I go to the website, and it's there with everything there, and I click on the liquidity, and there's a really shallow liquidity on Spectrum, which is what they said was going to happen. I was like, oh fuck it, it's live. Let's tweet this. So I rip a tweet out of auction house, and I'm 2 seconds from ripping a tweet out of the main Ergo platform. No, the main Ergo platform Twitter. And they write me, and it's like, no, it's not live, these are tests. So then so we ribbed them a little bit about doing a test on mainnet and actually calling the token what it's going to be called. Like, it could have been test auction house, even though it's on mainnet instead of auction coin. Oops. So a little pie in my face there, but luckily I got the tweet down about 60 seconds. I don't think anybody.
Then who knew? I didn't catch it. So,
but the cool thing is, I was chatting with them, and I was trying to have some fun because I saw the liquidity pool was pretty small. And I was like, you know what? What's going to happen if I just dump a bunch of ERG into the liquidity pool and jack the price of auction coin? I said, that's going to mean that the first like 10, 15, 20 auctions, or how many ever there's going to be, they're going to get bought up. What's it called? No, they're not. Sorry. The first auction is going to be a rush to get there to get that. And then the next auction is going to be twice the liquidity pool at that price. So it's going to jack up the price big time. And then it's going to drop down from there slowly. So, it'd be interesting to see what.
There's a lot of
see if it can be
a lot of game dynamics there.
Yeah. Pretty neat.
So I'm pretty curious to see how. But I really have to say I'm always impressed with these Ergo hacks when we see, open source code, open white papers, tooling that everybody can use. So it's one of these things. How do I judge this, man?
It's really tough.
It's
Yeah.
hard.
Yep.
It's like MetaMask itself. That integration could really change things, and atomic swaps are awesome tools. So I'd love to see that. Event ticketing is like real world
Yeah.
use case. Satergo spinning up nodes really quickly is sexy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Sidechain prototyping is like long term, huge foundational change potentially. HodlBox for simple people is amazing, right?
Yep.
Reputation system, could change DeFi if something like that, has legs. Poor man's hardware wallet is pretty cool. I always love those type of projects.
Yep. That's,
And
it's,
then
it's a
and then
lot of good
auction coin is
examples.
its own new, degen game for token emission. So I feel like the real loser here is me, you know.
You're just gonna grade them all the same, Joe.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's a work in progress. Let's just say that.
Well, that'll be fun for sure to judge this. When do you think you'll have your paper in, Joe, with your judging?
No, probably this weekend.
This weekend. You guys heard it
Yeah,
here.
yeah, I'll have time.
You guys
I'll
you
have
guys
time to dig through enough. It's the white papers, chewing through those, and then you got to think about it, right? Take some time.
Yep. True.
So
All right. Should we dig into the dev update?
let's dig in.
All right. Be my guest, Joe. You have
Sure,
the
it looks like
honors.
we're gonna start with Aberg, everybody's favorite developer cat, with the Satergo update. It's unreleased, but is available for review on GitHub. You can probably download some unreleased version if you really want to play with it. But if you do that, always don't put a lot of money into that type of situation, right? Looks like that's going to support the light node setup. That's going to be pretty awesome. That means rapid sync, right? And
Yeah, I grabbed it. I grabbed the GitHub download. You can run it with Gradle. I don't know how the hell you pronounce that shit.
I don't know.
But you can run it if you're on Mac OS. Just homebrew and install it, and make sure you have Java, and it's up in no time. Windows is even easier. You probably have that stuff already installed on your system, but it's nice. Yeah, it comes up with that option. Right there at the start. Like, how do you want to start this wallet? How do you want to do it? So
Yeah.
it's really cool.
And then improved toggle switches for better animation that graphically fills the color as the thumb slides from on or off to on.
It's getting pretty fancy there, Joe.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Is that an update? No, that's a question. All right, we've got C8 with HodlBox, added custom Bitmasks treasure chests as proof of concept of different communities. Same max lock time till 2024 10/15, but higher ErgUSD unlock price. Inviting other communities, individuals to create custom treasure chest images, configs, and receive 0.5 UI fee. Interesting. That would be cool. Bitmasks fixing customizing box models for different variations. On ErgoHack, a little comment on ErgoHack. Let's give some feedback right here live. They wish the ErgoHack would last longer, 1 to 2 weeks, to have a chance to work with different people from other teams, maybe solve common challenges like help each other with contracts, UI integration. Besides that, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree. Like ErgoHack Marathon Edition, right?
That would be cool. Yeah.
Or an ErgoHack month even.
You
There's a lot of potential there, I think, to extend it.
could bundle up the prizes for 2 ErgoHacks, and
Yeah, why not?
just do a month-long one for the year. That'd be interesting.
I would like that. Looks like Alex is here with some Ergo protocol research and development. So, as we spoke about earlier, I made sidechaining contracts during ErgoHack 7 along with Soizor. The contracts and early white paper draft are live on Ross's GitHub. So everybody there can click the link if they want. Made some code for comparing in-bits values without converting to big integers, which can easily be translated into ErgoScript. Provides possibility to do pay-to-week blocks, block shares and lethos setting for a cheese, and do trustless relays, etc. It's a pretty nice little upgrade that we can potentially add to a future client. 5.05 candidate is merged into the master and is under community testing. It looks like he made one fix for that so far in the testing process. With Dexy, looks like Code for Us is still messing with Spectrum integration, and Dimitri is on the UI. With ChainCash, still working on double spending and double redemptions for ChainCash on layer 2. With other matters, reviewed auction coin contracts briefly and has been diving through the Rosen contracts.
All right, we've got the Captain Nemo. Nautilus team update, Fleet SDK. Added TS doc to the common library as part of the efforts to document of the whole SDK. ErgSnap metamask integration. During the last Ergo hack, we had a lot of fun building ErgSnap, a metamask integration module and wallet management UI. And they post a repo for that. Is that, I mean, that's somewhat functional. Somebody could download and install it or no?
I think we're pretty close to seeing that in MetaMask. I don't know exactly what the support for MetaMask looks like, to be honest. I've never dug into that. But I think it's important here. The cat dev is getting into Ergo Hack Fest, which we did have one Ergo hack that was
long. Is that what Aberg said? Let's see.
Yeah, and I actually agree with that feedback. Now the difficulty, right, is in that I'm even a bigger loser because then people have more time to build and implement, and then I have to review way more stuff, and judging gets harder. But I agree. I think it's a better way forward.
Yeah, we might have a little bit more polished and finalized apps.
Yeah. So I support it. I think that's a great idea.
Is this me or you?
I have no idea.
I read Captain Nemo.
Probably me.
It is you. Luivatra is you.
All right. So everybody says win Paideia. Paideia beta is continuing the UI bug fixing. Got some good responses from bounties. Invited more beta testers. With Crux, working together with Marty on creating positions screen, which will show the user their open positions with different metrics such as profit and loss. This screen will also give information on staking rewards and vested tokens. Looks like with ErgoPad, making some preparations for linking ErgoPad stakers to the Cardano-based launchpad we are building so they can get benefits on that side as well. I think that's huge for the ErgoPad community. So we should definitely spam the ErgoPad logo with 4 likes there.
Oh, yeah, here we go. We'll do all of them. Perfect.
All of them.
All right, let's see what else we have here. A lot of dev talk this week. Oh, I guess it's the Ergo hack. People shooting stuff back and forth.
Yep.
You take this one too, Joe.
I'll take it. So everybody's saying win Rosen. Latest Rosen Bridge update. Launch and token distribution is going to be in a few days. A few days after that, we'll start deploying Rosen and setting guards up. So what happens is we need to have this token in market to support infrastructure because there's collateral requirements, right? Specifically, watchers need to have Rosen and use Rosen tokens to purchase watcher permits. So we need to have a token before we can just say, the bridge is live, right? One thing about a actual decentralized system is that it's kind of the process of spinning it up is messy. If it's one of these things where it's like hit a button and everything goes live, when you have like real decentralized, validation, real decentralized mining, stake pools, etc., it's messy. And that's a good sign, in my opinion. So it's not, you can't just turn it on, right?
Yeah, you can't turn it on or off. You can't turn it off after you turn it on. Or without breaking something horribly. It's not like we're the Solana chain or something.
Exactly. There's no switch.
You see that tweet by Charles today responding to the Solana bounty, 400K bounty to find the off switch or something? And
Yeah, the whole security is more important than, or speed is more important than
Speed, yeah.
security. Kind of bit them in the ass, but yeah, hey, they've been up for what, a couple months now, 9 months.
That's good for them. Good for them.
Yeah,
Props.
yeah, that's progress, right? Um, let's see, with the Rosen Bridge guard application, fixed bugs related to recently dated APIs that were updated. The implemented lock transaction generation for both Cardano and Ergo. With the Rosen Bridge guard service, more improvements on APIs such as adding token name and decimals to token IDs, fixing bugs in revenue API and structured assets API. Revamped APIs, improved code structure, and changed the response schematics in some of them. Fixed a minor bug in TX agreement, which resulted in sending an approval message multiple times. Prepared a script to generate minimum fee configs using token price and current config in the network. Improving the minimum fee config generation script to update the current config and generate transaction to update the box. With Rosen Bridge landing page, that is kind of the landing page / website for the main launch that's almost completed. We're working on the roadmap, etc. It'll be up in a few days. With the Rosen Bridge Watcher completed and deployed the deployment doc with the Rosen Bridge Scanner, completed the fraud extractor. With the cleanup service, had some updates. The contracts have been reviewed by experts and who wanted to be anonymous, as well as Alex, because he said so earlier, right? And they found a few bugs. All of them have been fixed, and we're back to testing again. And so, yeah, those of you that don't know, I'm actually kind of a part of the Rosen team. So I actually have to figure out what's the balance between that and the EF moving forward, which let's see. Either way, I'll still do these kind of things, right?
True. All right, wait. A couple questions about Rosen, just to clear it up.
Sure.
How easy is it once a bridge is made to a chain, let's say Cardano? How is easy it for other projects that come to Rosen and say, can we integrate Hotkey in
Yeah, we're gonna have
Hotkey kind of thing?
we're gonna have a process put in place for that. It's one of those things, especially as Cardano is still a pretty big ecosystem, right? But especially when you get into this idea of let's say true multi-chain. Let's say Rosen is connected to Ethereum, and who knows how many projects are on Ethereum or Cardano or other smart contract platforms with a lot of applications. Then suddenly, you're gonna get kind of DDoS, right? There's a reason why some things in the crypto space, like coin market cap, is a good example. Holy shit, take a number and wait eternity, right? Because there's so many new tokens and new projects that are trying to kind of basically get listed there, right? So if Rosen is a success long term, we have to expect that there's going to be quite a lot of demand put on the development team for supporting projects.
Mm-hmm.
And the question is, okay, well, how do you deal with that level of potential traffic and also dev work? Well, you have to monetize it, right? It really doesn't make sense to do it any other way. So we're gonna do that, and Rosen is built on this idea of fee distribution, right? That's not only are we trying to recreate a centralized exchange in a more federated and transparent manner, we're trying to actually redistribute a lot of the fees in a way where it benefits the framework, and it incentivizes auditing and fills a lot of gaps, I would say, that central exchanges kind of have. So that's something that will be released as we roll out in terms of how that'll be managed long term. It's still ongoing, but we have a pretty refined idea.
So I think what a lot of people still don't realize is that you, in some sense, are competing with central exchanges listings.
Yeah, no, yeah, I would say that from what people need to understand about bridging is most bridges are exchanges. That's how, if QX wants to move from, I'll just use the example, Ergo to Cardano, what do? Usually you go to a centralized actor, right? And so you're giving them custody of your asset. You don't really fully have the ability to know what's going on because you can't see their code base, right? You don't know who you're trading against because, again, you're in a black box. And so our goal is to try to, create an environment with better assumptions. Just that simple. And so a lot of, how Rosen will work on the back end is actually somewhat structured around exchanges where you have hot and cold storage and some of the security practices that they implement. But we also have this idea of incentivized auditing and fee distribution and, things that kind of build on that model that, you don't really see.
Yes, I mean, think of smaller chains that don't have the capital to invest in, $500,000 into a listing on some
It's a
central
rabbit
exchange.
hole. It's a rabbit hole I could
Yeah.
take you down here if you really wanted to. I mean, it's
Maybe
kind
we
of
don't have time.
yeah,
But
it's kind of a side. It's kind of a side
that's
conversation.
true.
Maybe we can get
Well,
into that.
I think that's amazing that Rosen's going to bring that opportunity to everybody, essentially to circumvent that and have another pathway onto other liquidity and other chains and other central exchanges that already have tokens listed. That it's much easier and cheaper to list.
Low key nerd's got a nice gift going.
I thought he was doing something else when I first scrolled down on that thing.
Get your mind out of the gutter. Come
Yeah, I
on.
know. Goodness gracious. All right. Looks like Kushti
Forwarded
forwarded
that.
something from Spectrum Finance. They made some significant upgrades to the Spectrum Network white paper. Quite technical stuff. Too long to read. Here they are. They integrated the synchronization mechanism, which solved a global synchronization problem by leveraging proof of stake. This mechanism eliminates the need for a global clock among consensus participants. The only remaining security assumption is that the parties have local clocks running at approximately the same speed. They improve the lottery mechanism, selection of consensus participants and slot leaders by reducing the number of VRF evaluations, which will potentially speed up the entire protocol. They added an appendix with the main algorithms necessary to achieve the consensus, block validation and chain selection rules, local clock synchronization, etc. And of course, they made a lot of minor edits and improvements to existing sections to provide more detailed explanation of how the protocol works.
Looks like it has been busy.
Yeah, goodness. And they got a PDF here if you're so inclined to read it.
All right. Looks like next we have Deathgripson at Analog Ergo. So with the hackathon experience, it was fun. I pushed myself to get every part of my project working for at least the testnet launch. I'm proud of what I got done. The bulk of it was building and debugging client and server REST API calls and some low-level debugging in the Atomic Swap API as well. Now I'm mainly focused on integrating the local web UI with REST APIs. We'll be, I have no idea.
That demoing.
Oh, demoing. Sorry.
It did look weird, didn't it? Maybe we're just
Your
tired.
screen. Yeah, your screen's getting a little blurry on me.
Yeah.
Let's see. We'll be demoing the basic web UI stuff in my web presentation for the dev updates. Integrated a basic market order type system for client and server atomic swap pricing and volume coordination. The atomic API generalization swap functions are started for a path to integrating more chains in the future, which is awesome to see. So there you go. Another way to interact with the Ergo ecosystem cross-chain. Totally different, method. Atomic swaps are kind of a beautiful thing. I'm a fan.
All right, we have LiquidPhase, THC. They've been pretty busy, focused on lots of important finishing work with THC and other stuff with my normal 9 to 5. Being said, I took some mental space to do a small side project out of necessity and feel it's a valuable, albeit simple. He did an Ergo NFT mass minter script for Fleet SDK. I think he was testing it the other day. He was flooding the mempool with some stuff. which is pretty darn cool.
I'd love to see that. You get the message on chain somewhere like, hey, guys, we're going to be spamming the mempool, right?
And immediately he's like, shit, I only have this showing up in the mempool. That's really funny.
Oops.
All right, what else do we have here? Is that it? That's it, sir.
That's it.
Oh, we have, let me look up this. I always give me a second. You can hear my keyboard typing, I'm sure. Somebody commented on the other day. You're like, your keyboard's a little loud. And I'm like, you know what?
He's smashing the buttons. That's how he gets it done.
I was like, maybe I should just pay attention during when I'm being filmed instead of going off on my little side there. All right, so we have TabbyPOS. They usually put their update on their website. Medium. Let me slide this over here. There we go. So it looks like they made some significant progress on IoTeX, successfully interacting with that through the WebStream DevNet platform. Due to previous technical misunderstandings, they had experienced a delay of several weeks, but then they have resolved the issue, which is a great relief. Tabby cards are currently in production. It will take approximately 5 weeks of manufacturing completion to deliver to us. And it looks like they got 2 new teammates on their team, which is pretty cool that they're building up there. Let's see what else. Due to the inclusion of the 2 non-technical members, they need to develop a backend system to facilitate their work. Previously, due to the heavy workload, we did not develop a backend, instead managed data directly using SQL queries, which is not good for non-experienced users. So it looks like they're doing some stuff for their internal team there too, which is pretty neat. That's good to see.
Awesome. I couldn't see that. I could only watch your mouse.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's right. I'm sharing just a window to you. My bad.
No, that's all right. That's all right. That's great to see Tabby's he's staying busy. I saw that listed on non-KYC.
Great, they're really active. It's really cool. I was thinking about once what's it called? Once if my dream, not dream, but if my idea comes to fruition at my place of business where I work, with integrating Ergo into some of the apps that we have for students and staff. The idea would be I would love to grab one of TabbyPOS's point of sale devices and have that at our counters so that we can they can interact with those directly and transfer their ergs and that kind of thing, and other things. So that would be really cool. I'm looking forward to that. Once that happens, I'll definitely reach out to those guys and see what they can do to help us out there.
Yeah, sign me up.
All right, what else is that it?
Looks like that's it for this week.
All right, what's on the horizon for next week, Joe? Anything special?
Yeah, this weekend I've got to chew through all the ErgoHack submissions, figure out how I'm gonna fairly apply parameters to like judge projects that are not necessarily similar, which is hard. Definitely excited to see what the ecosystem gonna do next, right? I love ErgoHacks. It's probably my favorite part of this ecosystem because the long-term like conversion rates in ErgoHack, if you look at most major applications or ideas, that's kind of where they were born. So oftentimes seeing kind of the initial idea and then looking 3, 6, 9 months from now, watching them be realized and implemented and come to life is probably one of my favorite parts of this ecosystem.
I agree, and the incentive is nice too. Nothing like 9,000 ergs to incentivize somebody to build something real quick.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the next one. I'm not exactly sure when that's going to be yet, or what the topic's going to be, but definitely is a discussion to start having as a community. And we did get feedback. People like the ErgoHack Fest or Ergo, I guess hack
a little bit longer, right? Yeah.
Extend the time a bit. I think that makes a lot of sense for people.
I think ErgoHack 5, the one I partook in, I think that was a week too. That was a good amount of time. I think I barely finished in time. It was a lot of typing, that's for sure. So I can't imagine these guys finishing this stuff in like what's it, NIST, is that his name? NIST, finished in a day and a half on a hospital or on a sick bed, kind of thing.
Yeah,
That's a serious feat. That's crazy.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome to see.
All right, Joe. Well, thanks so much for letting me come on again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here. Always dig through these dev updates. I hope everybody out there enjoys kind of the review and has an idea what's going on because even though sometimes bear markets are ugly, there's a lot being built under the hood in the Ergo ecosystem, and that's always where my head's at.
It's amazing. Every once in a while, I think, okay, we finally got, we've got a bunch of tools. We're ready to go. We'll hit the bear. We got a lot of stuff to show when new people come in. And I'm like, all right, we're good. But then, it's 3-4 weeks later, something else comes out. I'm like, oh, now we're definitely ready.
Yeah,
So
why not? Why not
it's
side
this
chain,
constant
right?
thing. Yeah.
It's evolution, right? And the
Yeah.
coolest thing, in my opinion, is that because a lot of the frameworks, a lot of the tooling is all open source. It accelerates, right? As the mind share grows, what's possible becomes more complex over time, and
I, yeah.
that's something that I hope we see continuing to evolve. Over as long as I'm around in Ergo. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, no, I agree. I had a saying that I was gonna mention. I think it was during the Ergo for Dummies AMA that I did with Austin. I forget why I was going to mention it, but it never came out. But it goes hand in hand. It's the opposite of what you said, but it goes hand in hand the other way too, about this kind of structure being there for people to stand on and then build off of. It's just amazing to have that big of a tower that people can jump on and then do a couple tweaks and have a completely different tool. That kind of
Yeah.
stuff really opens the floodgates for that kind of stuff. And then it goes the other way too. And what was the saying that I thought up was, it's easy to, how is it? It's easy to shit on top of a skyscraper when the design of the skyscraper built you the shitter on the top floor. So, what I mean? That's kind of the thought. Of course, it's easy to stand there on the top floor and look down and be like, this is, got so many issues with it. But you're standing on the top floor there. So there's, it's obviously got you that far to be able to stand there and look back and critique. So a lot of people, I think a lot of people miss that, I think, when they're looking at these kind of things, the big picture.
I think a lot of people in the cryptocurrency space are so focused on profit, right? That they forget that the reason why Bitcoin, started open source and, that whole mind share, was in this space is this idea that you can't kill a good idea. And when it's open source, what you can do is you can, periodically improve upon a good idea. And, it kind of reminds me of this idea of like peer review in science, right? Where it's open, it's available, and then people can battle test it, right? And so, the more that we open source code, the greater the potential for people to come in and improve upon it. And you also have this idea of hardness occurring over time as more and more can, see it. So all of the attack vectors are right there, right? That's a very different approach than saying, hey, we're going to have some proprietary software that's quote unquote decentralized and has a DAO. And I don't even know, man, you go down the rabbit hole that way, you get really far away from that core mindset. But it's important, right? I think it's probably one of the most important things because even if, something doesn't necessarily do it right or survive the test of time, the next iteration might.
Exactly.
And that's ultimately the goal that's most important because this type of technology could really offer a great benefit to humanity if it were harnessed correctly. I fundamentally believe that, and that's why I'm here.
Yep. And these guys have to have some big balls and some thick skin to do this, to be able to take the critiques of dumping their code out in the public have some big balls to be able to, back it up with their skill set. I mean,
Yeah.
goodness, I had something published on Git one time for a project that I didn't use anymore, but it was still kind of active. And I think it might have been Deathgripson texted me, and he's like, "Dude, you're not even preventing against a simple drop table attack in your SQL call." And I'm like, "Oh fuck, okay, GitHub erase. I'm done. This project is over. I don't need it anymore."
No, I mean, then also add this idea that you have people, speculating on the value and pressuring you, right? That takes even
Yeah.
thicker skin.
Yep.
Is what it is. But I ultimately think that you can't kill a good idea, and this industry was born from a great idea. So we keep pushing that forward.
I agree, Joe. I'm there with you. All right. I think I gotta do a little bit of I gotta pull some database for somebody for a couple minutes, and then I'm gonna hit the sack. It's 1:14
All
a.m.
right.
here, Joe.
Get some sleep. Thanks for showing up, QX.
All
Always
right,
a
thanks,
pleasure.
Joe. Ciao.
Have a good one.